Hi, George here, and I'll be showing you the simple trick on how to put a photograph inside of letters using Photoshop Elements. And it's real nice. You can do some graphic design like this, or you could put somebody's name, maybe for a birthday card. If you come in here and you add a background, all of a sudden you have a nice postcard style or a poster for the wall. Very easy to do. And in this video, we'll do this one here. This shows you the whole process. I'll just close this one down. And the first thing we'll do is start off with a brand new file. Go up here to File, come down to New, and blank file. There we go. I have mine set for the default Photoshop Elements size right there. Choose OK. I'll just dock that up there. Now the first thing we need is to have some text in here. So I'll grab the type tool. Now later versions of Photoshop Elements, you get some automatic text placed in here. Earlier versions, you'll have just the insertion point. Either way, just type in your text. I'll be doing all caps. Like that, I just typed in spring. And this is a real large size, as you can see. Now, several ways to approach this. We could come in here, triple click to select this, and I can bring my size down to a much smaller size so it fits that way. But then you don't have much space to put your image into. Something that's a lot easier here is to double click on this, come down here where it says size, hold your cursor over the word size, and you get this finger with these two arrows. Click and hold, and you can increase the size or decrease the size just by shoving this back and forth like that. Now, later versions of Photoshop Elements also have a tracking control right down here where you can bring the letters closer together, which can work out very well for this. Most versions don't have that. Another option is to come in here and then use the Control-T keyboard shortcut. This gives you control handles, and we can now actually pull these sides in. Now, this is going to be squeezing the text, as you can see there, the text and the spacing, but allows us to make this fit better. We also can make the text larger. The bigger the text area, the bigger the black part of this, the better this is going to work. There's more room there for the photograph to show in. That also brings up a good point. When you're choosing your typeface, try to find a very dark, heavy typeface like this, very, very thick typeface. This will give you the most room in there for your lettering. I have quite a few of these, a few real thick typefaces. That one's not too bad. That one's pretty good. But the thicker the face, the better. This one's kind of fun. Just consider the black area as being your canvas, and the more black area you have, the better this is going to work out. In my next video, I'll show you where you can find and download free fonts to give you a much larger font collection. Now, the color you make this doesn't matter, so I just went ahead and just chose black just for contrast in here because we'll be changing this with that photograph. Let's now bring in our picture, and I found one up here. It's just a nice picture of some tulips on a field. I think that works out well for spring. And I have this as a floating window, and that's an option here in Photoshop Elements. Go up here to Edit, come down to Preferences and General, and you'll find it right here, Allow Floating Documents in Advanced Mode. That allows me to just take the background here and drag it on like that, just kind of drag and drop. There we go. I'll do Control-Z to undo that. Another way to do this if you want to, just come down to the photo bin. There's both of our pictures. If you just drag and drop from here, it does the same thing. In this case, it came in behind. It doesn't matter. I'll just take this and drag this to the top like that. It's now on top of or in front of our text. And then right-click on the name and choose Create Clipping Mask. This is the trick right there. Notice there it can be either on the photograph up here or on the type. When we're on the photograph, I can actually move the photograph around to try to find the best look. Like here's mostly the leaves in there. So a lot more flowers towards the top. Goes kind of out of focus back there, which is interesting. So it allows you to fine-tune the placement in here of your photograph. You can even rotate this thing around, change the size, whatever you want. Use Control-T, bring up your control handles, and I can then change the size of the image like this. And if it comes just outside of a corner or just outside of a side, right by one of those control handles, I can grab that and actually rotate the image as well. So you have a lot of options in here. If you want to put a drop shadow on here, the drop shadow is on the lettering layer right there. Go up to Layer, come down to Layer Style, Style Settings. There's your drop shadow. I found with most drop shadows, putting the lighting angle off to the left or to the right tends to work better. In here, the size is how soft the shadowing is. You bring my distance out. Distance is like that. So here's your distance. I'll put it way out here so it's really easy to see this. That's your distance. The size is how soft or how out of focus that is. So the larger the size, the softer the shadow. Opacity is how dark your shadow is. There's light and here's dark. You also can change the color if you want to. Click on this little color box And you can choose any color that you want for your drop shadow if that works out for you. Just move the distance back up here. And I'll put it just a little ways like that, just a little bit off. And that lifts that off of the surface. Of course, we also can put a glow in here or add a bevel. Now the bevels in here are soft edge bevels. And we can do a stroke. This is an outline. Pretty easy to use that. There we go. So it's up to you what kind of additional effects you want in here. You also can come down where it says styles right there. And in here, we have bevels, drop shadows, and all kinds of other interesting effects in here that can be applied to your text. For instance, if we go to Wow Chrome, for instance, here's a Wow Chrome look. It's kind of nice. Here's a different Chrome effect. So you can get very fancy, very complex in here. Now, if I do Control Z, I can use this to back up, and it goes back through all of those steps. There we go. We have some different neon looks. Now, the neon obviously is replacing the contents. Control Z to back out of that one. Plastic look adds it on top. There you go. Notice it also changes the color of the shadow in here as well. Control Z to back out of that. So lots and lots of other options in here to really give you some very fancy type effects. But we'll keep this one just real simple for this video. Now, if you want to learn a lot more about how to use Photoshop Elements, learn a lot more of these different tricks in here, I have all of that covered in my complete training course for Photoshop Elements. And I'll put a link for that at the top of the description. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that thumbs up. Also, make sure you subscribe. I do videos all the time. And I'll see you next time.